The Kingdom Live Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kingdom Live Show, your number one show that talks about politics. We talk about social events. We talk about economical events, moral events. As in, we really talk about very many things concerning aspect of life for the sake of our development, especially here in BUSIA. And today with me here right now, I'm hosting a brother. For me, I call him a brother. At the same time, he's a honorable, but before a honorable comes, of course, he's a brother. And he's here on the Kingdom Live Show. And I would request him to introduce, but before he introduces himself, he has moved with another brother that will also introduce himself. And Kennedy can introduce himself and then introduce our brother.
Okay, thank you very much. My brother Jumah Yahya, Honorable, is our Honorable Councillor for Eastern Division. I'm really very grateful for you to host me this evening on your show. And so to our viewers, my name is Wanyama Kennedy. I am a resident and a son in BUSIA municipality. And so I'm glad to be hosted by my young brother. And of course here I moved with my colleague in the struggle. When, if you remember 2021, we moved together trying to talk to the people of BUSIA municipality to trust us to take us to parliament. Unfortunately, the people said no at this moment, wait a bit. So we also accepted your decision and we're moving on. So we thank you so much for listening, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, thank you, Kingdom. I'm also grateful to be hosted with you here today and tonight. My name is Orengo Wafula. As Kennedy has said, we are moved together, and of course we shall not get tired talking about issues concerning our communities, our municipality, our district, and Uganda as a whole. So I'm grateful, my brother.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Wafula, for turning up. Ladies and gentlemen, about that, we are going to talk about something very important. And those who follow Brother Kennedy, I think you've been watching him or you've been seeing him on social media. He's been like traveling. He has been in Switzerland. He's been in Austria. By the way, I used to confuse Austria and Australia.
Yes. So many people wrote to me and they were saying, "You're in Australia." Then I could write to them and say, "No, it's called Austria." Because yes. Australia is so far. It's south of the continent.
Almost in the waters. And
it's so separate, isolated from other continents. Yeah.
By the way, yes, on that same note, Brother Kennedy has moved in, is it also German?
Yes, German.
Yeah, German. And I remember my geography. I was very good at geography, by the way. Mm-hmm. We were learning about the Rhinelands. The Rhinelands and the
Berlin Wall.
That was history now.
Yeah, it's still there.
But when you look at the Rhinelands, you'll find that most of these countries are bordering each other. The likes of Switzerland, the likes of Germany, the likes of Luxembourg, and all that. So my brother got a chance and he toured these places, unlike some of us who were reading them in books. And on that same point, we want him to share with us what has been his experience while in both German, Switzerland, and Austria. What has been experience? What new things has he learned from Europe, and that you think he can translate them or transplant them to our town, BUSIA? Brother, one thing that I would want you to talk about, first things first.
Okay.
Yes, just tell us where you've been, in which countries, in which cities, slowly like that as we progress.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, my friend and my brother Juma again. And our viewers, I want to ideally welcome you to the Kingdom Live Show. Please support the Kingdom Live Show, and I think my brother will bear me witness that I have been, following you so much. Whenever your show is on, I always try as much as possible to participate and also make sure that we subscribe and support a brother. So please tell a friend to make sure that our brother Juma gets quite, 1 million, 5 million, likes on his the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, and this is how we can, support one another. So back to the point. Of course, I've been in Europe. I left here in mid-May, and so my trip to Europe has not been just a trip of tour, like to go and tour and see what is in Germany, what is in Austria, what is in Switzerland. By the way, I also passed Czech Republic, but I didn't do much there, and also I was in Belgium. So my trip to Europe was actually an official trip and a business trip, based with my personal and the official businesses that I'm doing with some of the partners in Europe. And so basically, I was rotating around the Schengen countries, because Schengen countries, these are countries that, but Mkago, Gambosoro, Gambant, the East African community, in East Africa. We have so many countries in East Africa, but we have those that have subscribed to East Africa. There are those that are still applying and have not yet confirmed their membership. So in Europe, in the Schengen area, also have that. And so Germany, Switzerland, Austria and others are part. So when you want to go, for example, to Germany, you may not, you can, if you want, you can get a Germany visa, but to be at the safer side, it's also allowed to get what we call a Schengen visa. And so a Schengen visa, it's one visa, the German embassy can grant it to you, or the Austrian embassy can grant it to you, or the Swiss embassy, which is actually in Nairobi. Swiss embassy is in Nairobi. The Austrian embassy is in Addis Ababa, and the German embassy is in Kampala, because we have it here in Kampala. So they can give you this visa, and so the visa grants you to go to every Schengen country. So if you get the Schengen visa, and you're specifically going to Germany, and then you reach Germany and you say, oh, I think I should visit Switzerland a bit, my friend is there, or somebody is in Austria, you're allowed to cross the borders and go, because that visa gives you that mandate, permission. So I went on a business trip. Those of you who don't know where I'm working, I work with an organization which I started myself. It's called Get Water Uganda.
It's called what?
Get Water Uganda. And Get Water Uganda is an organization that is a charity, non-profit making, which is serving our communities in Uganda, including BUSIA district. And so I got a chance a few years ago to start a program in BUSIA with some partners in Switzerland and in Austria and in Germany. But these partners specifically wanted to run a program which we are doing under our organization to the people who are vulnerable and are living around the shores of Lake Victoria. Then I said, but BUSIA has got Lake Victoria, and we have people living around. Much as I don't stay in Majanj, I don't stay in Busime, I don't stay in those areas that are bordering the lake, but then we can do something, about it. So we designed the proposal, and we got some grants from different partners, and we're implementing a project that is bringing access to safe drinking water in the sub-county of Busime, because that's the interest of the donor. That the donor is interested in looking at how to make those people access safe drinking water. In statistics of water, actually, one would say, but the people of Busime have the lake, so they have all the water they need. But actually they suffer more, because much as they have the lake, the characteristics of people who are living around lake shores like Busime, Majanj and other areas show that most of those people, by the way, the statistics for latrine coverage is very low, first of all. and also the access to safe drinking water is also very low. You know, it's one thing to have water and it's another thing to have it safe for drinking. So most of them go and fetch it directly from the lake.
Yeah. And
since the pit latrine coverage is low, so people still practice open defecation. Those of you who don't know open defecation, kitegeeza omuntu okupama mu nsiko talina toya abantu abagenda just okweyambibwa bweru. Then when it rains, all the rain washes all the waste, the feces into the lake. So people fetch this water from the lake and drink. And so when they drink, they fall sick. They get diseases like typhoid, cholera, diarrhea, those ones, you know, stomach pains. And that is why, Honorable Member, you are so much discussing issues of but if you go to Masaf and do research, most of the diseases that are affecting our people are waterborne diseases, waterborne related sanitation and hygiene related diseases. And according to World Health Organization, research says that 75% of the diseases that Ugandans suffer can be prevented. It means that you just allow them to come. For example, if you don't have a latrine, if you're not drinking safe water, who should help you to drink safe water? Should you wait for someone to come and teach you that you have to treat the water you're supposed to drink? No. You just know that if I treat my water, if I treat the drinking water, it's for the good of my life. If I have a latrine, I'm trying to protect my family and myself, and I'll be healthy. Because if you expose your feces in the open, then at the end of the day, it comes back to you again, to who suffers. And so those of you who have suffered from diseases like typhoid, typhoid is a disease that is caused by eating raw feces. I want to be open and tell people now that I've got this opportunity. That's what doctors tell us. Bogenda mu ddwaliro ne bapima ne bakusangamu obulwadde obwa typhoid. Kiba kyansonyi nnyo okugamba abantu tumunange basanzemu typhoid era nze sisobola kyogera kubanga bw'okiŋŋamba nze mangenda kukusekera nti ono tamanyi kunaaba mu ngalo yalidde B okiraba. So either B oyo wamunyweredde mu mazzi directly oba wagenze n'okwata omuntu mu ngalo, like you greet me and people see bwe nkukwata mu ngalo nga nze sinaabye mu ngalo ngenze mutoyi n'eŋŋaana okwetereza then ne nkukwata mu ngalo zo kusiize ki B. If you find something and you eat, you're eating feces, my feces. So that's how it's spread. So concepts gye twakola okusobola okusomesa abantu baffe ababeera mu mbeera ezifaanana bwezityo bave mu mbeera ez'okweyisa obubi batandike practices ezigenda okubayamba okubeera abalamu, because there is a saying that health is wealth. Bw'obeera mulamu obeera mugagga kubanga oba olina amaanyi enkeera onoonya omulimu n'okola family ono ekola ki nebeerawo. So that's what we're doing, and our program is looking at bringing water closer to the people. First of all, pump it from Lake Victoria, bring it to the community, treat it with good technologies using the membranes, filtrations and good technologies. And so when it's safe for drinking, people fetch it and drink for free. We are doing it for free. We have also been able to reach out to some schools with menstrual hygiene management. Schools like Wanyama Primary School. If you go there, we have constructed a room for the girls. Very nice. If you go to Luala Buyunda, we have finished. If you go to, there's a school in Majanj when you're going to Sangalo Beach. The last school down there. It's called the Madua Primary School. We are going to start next month. Put a room there. We had selected another school in Dadira because the donor wants schools that are nearing the lake. I said, all these schools, I wish I had an opportunity and I could also bring some in municipality. But maybe more are coming, as I'll be explaining to you. So we have reached out to people, and so in these schools, we have constructed a room for girls, and we are looking at helping younger girls to keep at school without staying home. Menstrual cycles. In rural areas, they stay home, and they end up taking like a full week without coming to school, and yet the lessons are going on. So I took them and watch over take our room, and we equip that room with uniforms, sanitary towels, amaza gokunaba buli kimu kibeere mu room yaabwe. Omuwala babeera mu nsonga ze ava mu kibiina ensonga ze bazibize, they just go straight away to the room, they change and go back to class and study. What we have also done, that in those schools we have also brought water. 20,000 liters per day is there in those schools. The abana bagala amazzi agokunywa, drinking water is there, but also they can use that water for washing. You see? So, and also with additional information, skills, hand washing practices and others. Okuyamba abantu abo. In households, abantu mu maka gaabwe, we are constructing rainwater harvesting tanks as a cement. Bwebanga olina ennyumba y'ebbaati nga tukuteekerawo tanka eya liter kaka 6,000 liters capacity for some households. But this we are targeting all the people, vulnerable, the disabled, you know, the child-headed and single mothers. Now basobola okubanga tebatambula olugendo oluwanvu nnyo okugenda okunoonya amazzi agaki ag'okunywa. So that's what Get Water Uganda is doing basically. And when I was in Europe, I had gone to give feedback, but also strengthening our partnership and checking for more collaborations and networks. And I learned a number of lessons. Of course, it was not only that. I had some time also to do other things, meet different people. And so our partners are GIZ, the government. I'm working with the government of Germany. I'm working with people in Austria. I'm working with departments of the government of Switzerland who are funding our programs in Uganda and in different communities. Even in Namaingo, we have programs there. And my program currently is reaching out to 15,046 households. This is approximately 6,000 people. 60,000 abantu emitwalo mukaaga bali benefit from program. 60,000 people. Na hivyo bobo bala household, they're averagely 15,046. This is a good, you know, move. So when I get German, I don't know exactly what you want me to say and how. The question was how do I make use of the trip? The trip Janaliko, Europe, to see our people benefit. First of all, I want to say that Chisoboka, the lessons, I'm trying to also put it in Uganda so that we match. It's very possible that we can draw some lessons from my trip, 1 month trip in Europe, but it will take quite a number of determinations and steps if we want to be where those guys are. Ekisokera ddala bali abasajja ensi ziri in my opinion bo bali mu bulala. They are living in heaven and we are like living in hell. I want to be honest. I'm sorry, with due respect, I'm sorry to mention this. Naye njagala kugamba nti bw'ogenda e Europe, buli kimu ky'olaba e Europe kyanjawulo nnyo na bino bye tulaba wano e BUSIA. Bw'obeera e Europe n'otambulayo n'okoma e Kampala, enyonyi ekuteeka ku kitebe eky'Entebbe, Entebbe International Airport. Bw'ogwayo n'oyingira Kampala, you begin seeing Kampala as a village, not as a city. It's disorganized. Buli kimu, things are not planned. Those guys have got what you call infrastructure. Bw'oyogera ku malwaliro, everything is super. Bw'oyogera ku nguudo, those are mukwano gwange Juma walaba. I tried to share some of them. And those of you who are following me on my Facebook page, you saw. Things are well structured. In Europe, totambula na sente zino za cash. Ntojja kubira ne sente zo musawo simanyi na milioni yo. Eno ndaba abantu batambula ne sente n'ateeka mu stockings wansi, n'aziteeka mu musawo, n'ateeka mu baga, agenda mu bank. For what? For your information, when I arrived at Brussels airport, I had some cash on me. Ga sente zo zaali euros. I had exchanged like in 200 euros notes. Kati 200 euro note emu ebeeranga mitwalo 8 egya Uganda. One note of 200 euros.
One note like
mitwalo 8. So I had those notes of 200 euros for my upkeep. So netuuka ku kisaawe nga namukwano gwange Henry, and I was hungry. Kubanga twali tusuze mu nnyonyi kati netuuka ku makya. Netwagala okulya. So one of the restaurants around there said, okay, hello, can we eat some food? They said, yes, of course. We're selling some food. So I branched one of the restaurants. But first of all, I asked, because I know in Europe, most people use what you call credit cards. Yeah. You eat and then pay by credit cards. So, can I eat some food? Yes, of course. Then I asked them, do you take cash? They said, yes, we shall take cash. So I was happy. I ate food. Restaurant, and then I ordered for margarita. It's called margarita pizza. Then my friend ordered for some food. Then when I pulled a note of 200 euros, I said, no, that's a lot. I don't have that kind of money. You see? Oh my God. I expect that you have like maybe 50 euro notes, maybe a 20 euro note or 5 euros. I said, for me to give you change for that note, it means that I'm getting every cash that I have here. They try as much as possible to minimize all the cash, and everything is soft online. So, tebagala abantu batambule sente babonona, like that's how their economy is. So I struggled, but because you are new here, I just have to help you. Then he moved around looking for who has some change. It took me over 30 minutes just to exchange 200 euros. Now one Samu, then there is a balance one. Next time, please come with it. Small notes. So in Europe, only 100 euro note is accepted and below. Of course, their value is high. If I talk of 100 euros, I'm talking about 400,000. But of course, the other one is Europe. Na yemere generally did nalia emere. I just ate a pizza. Nenga pizza yalia euro ngama 20 euros. 20 euros je mitwalo ngama 8 ya Uganda. Just for you to eat a small pizza. Small katono wekati. No kale no saswa mitwalo 8 no ben. Bwebula mu bwabuye. So those guys I was talking about their infrastructure. Totambula nyo na cash. Ama engudo nungi. Their roads. So, like if you brush your shoe, bokuba ekigato kyo no kikuba kiwi. Olunaku lwogendedde mu mwezi unagenda. Nakube ekigato kyagenda kikuba mulundo. Only once from the time I went to Europe. Until when I returned, sadda mukuba dagala kubanga tewali mfufu, tewali kintu kigenda kudugaza engato zange.
Mwami Kennedy and the viewers out there, those background mujitegedde bulungi. He has told you the background, and he has told you the reason as to why he went there. And of course, omanya abantu bangi nnyo Uganda bagalanga kubuuza ekibuuzo nfuniramu wa. Okimanyi ekibuuzo ekyo? Ekibuuzo ekiri common. Obalaba ku media bali awo naye kati omuntu asobola kubuuza. Naye kati Kennedy okugenda wabweru eyo nzimba nfuniramu wa. But I think he was reading my mind. Kennedy was reading my mind, and he was telling me how you people are benefiting. You might not benefit you as a person, but the community is benefiting.
Sure.
Because if at all, almost, you said 60,000 households?
60,000 people now. 60,000 people now are benefiting.
Exactly.
15,000 households.
So don't you think that that one is transforming a community? He has told you that he's basing majorly on water, clean water. In fact, clean water.
Actually, and climate change.
And climate change.
Yes.
He has told you that. Me myself, I've seen this in Majanj. In Majanj, I've seen it. People just go to the lake with the jerrycans. He puts there his jerrycan. He takes water back home. This water is going to drink. He's going to cook using that water. He's going to do what? He's going to wash. And that is the biggest challenge that we are having here in Africa. Somebody is going to get sick, typhoid, cholera, and all those waterborne diseases. Why are these diseases not in Europe and they are here in Africa?
For your information, in Europe there is no malaria. In Europe you cannot find somebody against typhoid, a muluma. It's very rare. In Europe, every water point you find, every public point, whatever has water fountains, anything, animals, and then water is flashing like this. Like at this hotel, I saw some fountain.
Yeah, fountain.
If you find such public fountains, whatever you find, drink that water is safe.
So for them, what they did, I wonder what is to make water safe.
All their water sources, more so the ones which are distributing water in different, all the taps, including the toilet water. Bogena mu toilet okweyamba betuvanga netugenda kutapa eno jefunabirako. That water is safe. In a place where I was staying, that was the only tap in the house. So most people have those taps in their either kitchen or in their toilet. So if you want to drink water after a meal, you get a cup, you either go to the toilet and get that water from the tap, or go to the kitchen where the tap is. There is no any other special tap. Obanga ono yofe ogamba kata mazi banange mufumba mazi muteke mu kadomola muteke mu fridge. Ago kunywa.
Boil water.
Bali ebisingo bungi banywerako wine ku mmere. after people eating food, a meal, even when it is lunch, over dinner, they eat that. Then the next thing is beer. If it's not a beer, then it's ice cream, or it's coffee, or wine. Kati nza tanywa mwenge, sebo nze naveranga nnyo kuka lemon tea, ka lemon tea oba ka soda ka Coca-Cola nga bakatademo ice cubes and lemon.
Yeah.
See? But in most cases bakutunda nibagamba, for you, how do you drink a soda with a meal? For them, they feel it, after a meal it should either be chocolate, ice cream, or wine, or something alcoholic. You see? So bwe yagala amazi agokunywa, you cannot eat and then water is here. They say, oh, go to the tap and get drinking water.
By the way, ebintu bino ndoza mwami producer gundi Desh. Ebintu bino nalabanga movie nga abazungu afuna chikopo ba glass nagenda wali ku tap, this washing, the one they use for washing hands. He just gets a cup like this or a glass.
You asked for tea?
Yeah, but what? Not
Okay, this should be mine. So you can check.
No, guy na take a glass. Water, and then the guy drinks. At times also he washes the face and then he drinks there and then. Kumbe that is the logic behind.
So, mbadde nkugamba, their water systems are safe. When it comes to transportation, kati nga wane ewaffe BUSIA, bw'oba oyagala kutambula okuva wano nga tolina ntambula ayo nga oba piki oba emotoka, olina okukozesa public transport, which are actually private, kubanga they are owned by individual persons. You have to go to the taxi park, n'olinda abantu ne bawera, osobola okutula saawa namba, olinza abantu bawera ogende Kampala, ogende Jinja, ogenda Mbale, ogenda wa. In Europe it's different. Government zizonna, ensi ezo zonna bakola system ya transportation nga it's owned by the government. Transportation system. Kati chebakola, every citizen, for example in Germany or Switzerland or Austria, any country, their citizens are encouraged to buy a ticket for a year. And each day maybe they charge them like €0.50 or €1 per day for transport to go anywhere you want. So it's kind of a pooled resource. Ogula ticket nga ya mwaka. Over half a year or 3 months or a month. Okusinziranga bw'obuyinza sente zo. Ne ticket gyoba oguze oyinza ticket eyo oyinza okutambuza with any means of transport. Kati nga wano Uganda kamba ekyokulabirako tulina national ID. Si ticket yaffe. People know that we are Ugandans by our national ID or a passport, but national IDs are common. So there, if you want to travel, you get a ticket. Through does not even need to be in your names. It just has to be valid. Niwe banga ya Juma nyizo jikozesa, as long as when I enter a transport means in Jirina. So you get a ticket, and that ticket will indicate whether 2 people are using it or 1 person is the one using it. All those provisions are there. Or it's for 3 people. They have all those provisions. Weba ticket ngwasalanga ya muntu omu. You can use the same ticket to enter a bus to take you anywhere. Buses are everywhere. Every 2 minutes. Bwembanga ndi wano nentambulako meters 10, I will see a bus station or a train station. The opposite side it's there, in front it's there, behind it's there. There are different stations. So choose where you want to go and you just walk there. 2 minutes. Transport means there. Wotuka stage. Either it's for the bus, or it's for the train, or it's for the tram. It does not take you more than 2 minutes. Nga a bus or a train yagala okutwala oyagala again. Tena tuka. Everything is on time and it's online. Bwe tuka abantu nga tebaliwo, it's supposed maybe to stay there for 2 minutes. Bwezigwako ngegenda. Terina muntu yenna.
It works on timetable.
Kubanga mu maaso waliwo stage endala. Waliwo abagirinze at a certain time. Okiraba? And at every stage there is a screen to show you. Ngabo genda ngentebe. Nolaba screen eri enyonye genda kulandinga sawa bweziti. No vera sure and sawa bweziti ejja kuba everyone. That's how systems are even on trains, even in buses. Ekulaga nebwoyingira ekulaga negamba nti from here to where you're going it will take you 10 minutes. Tezija kuyita mosewo. It cannot. Otukira ku budde, and that's why in Europe everything is structured. Abantu bono na budde. In Europe, you cannot just visit anybody. Mu nyumba ye nomugamba munange nkukyalideko ewuwo nzizo okukulambulako oli otya nakuloozezaako oli mulamu oli bulungi oba temuli bulungi nakuloose nti munange oli mulwadde nzizo okukulabako. That one is not there. If you want to visit anybody, give them a call or write to them and make an appointment. See? And then someone will tell you, I'm nange wendi oba siriwo katuteko olunaku olulala ojja kujja ate nga akuwa obudde, I will only be available for 30 minutes. Please come. And after 30 minutes, they are going to do something else. So
as in they really value time a lot.
They value time. And in Europe, you cannot live in Europe if you don't have money. So if you waste time and you don't want to work, then you will be poor. So maybe lesson number one, we can also draw it from that line. How do we utilize our time?
Kennedy,
that we have here? We have plenty of time in Africa.
Time. That is the biggest challenge that we are having. Even they ended up by nicknaming us African time.
African time.
You tell somebody
European
come
time
at
or
7,
African time?
He comes at 9.
And they don't apologize.
And they say, I'm telling you.
That is African time.
For sure. Bwana Orengo, I'm thinking that we can do these things. These people just commit themselves. As Kennedy is saying, they have a lot of commitment. Like if at all they are strictly on time, it should be time. Look at our transport sector. Our transport sector, most of it is owned by private individuals. And they don't have specific time. Even if he has told us, even if it has reached the time and a bus is leaving, it will leave even without a person. But for us here, we have to wait for the taxi to be full. You can bear me witness, when you're traveling to Kampala, a taxi is parking at the taxi park. It cannot go without. So those people really value time, and I don't know how we can really.
So in my opinion, when it comes to infrastructure development in Uganda, I think it is beyond the individuals like Kennedy, like Orengo, like Jumah. And this one totally relies on the responsibility of the government. Okay? Because for you as a person, you cannot construct a road.
No.
The only thing you do is to pay tax. And so this tax that you have paid goes to a consolidated account of the government. Okay? Either collected by URA in any way. Then the government receives it. And so it's the responsibility of our government to prioritize the needs of the country. Of recent, you have passed the budget.
Yeah.
I heard defense took a lot.
3.7.
You see? Compared to the parish development model, which you are saying that is going to get people out of poverty. So if you get olina program gyolese mu bantu ngobagamba program eno egenda okujja abantu mu bwavu ate ogitaddemu sente ntono ate
In fact,
institutions is really well established which don't require a lot of money is why again you're investing more. Then you are not serious about your own country. So for example, if we talk about transport system in Uganda, it's not difficult. Do you think it is difficult for this government to say that let us start with 10 buses in every district? Ziberonga za government, nga weba waliwo ebiri ezigenze oba tugambe nti ezigende Kampala tulina buses nya. Waliwo evaawo ku makya, waliwo nevaawo saawa 6, waliwo ya saawa oba 8, waliwo saawa 10. Then zine nya nga bwe zigenda, then waliwo eziva e Kampala ezikola ki? Ezidda nazo in that kind of line. Maybe after every 2 hours there are buses traveling. Is it possible government ya Uganda planning the government mu myaka 5 if they are prioritizing very well twagala okuimproving transport system tuguleyo buses za government tukendezeko ku taxes tukendeze ku borders kiraba ekyo kijja tuyamba okusooka okulaba nti you are reducing on congestion that you see in the cities. The government is crying of congestion of borders in the cities. Why? Because you have failed. The system has failed. You don't have a provision for people to move. So what do you want people to do? They will buy borders which are easy for them. We don't have even any train in Uganda. Kenya at least has started. But Uganda does not even have one. Even the ones that we have as cargo, they are too rotten. So we need to prioritize things that can help us improve on the welfare of this country. And then, so The other commitment that I also see that we need to do as Ugandans. Those are Uganda okwayo musolo sichibi. That's one lesson that I also picked. Okwayo musolo sichibi. But I think the reason as to why Ugandans complain of taxation, it is because they are not seeing the value of the taxes that they are paying. But if the government was committed to show Ugandans how they are benefiting from the taxes, then I think every Ugandan would be committed to pay taxes. Kubanga, in Europe, people are happy to pay taxes. Much as some by the way, their taxes are high. Never sasula kubanga bamanyinti omusolo gwa basasude gugenda kubira kone kigwendo okola somewhere, and they are going to see value for their taxes as opposed to what is happening here. So kati nze mukulaba kwange nti I think individual citizens have to see how to push this to show the government okulaba nti tetuli bamativu ne government byekola ki byekola tulabe platforms zetusobola okuyisizaamu information yaffe tupe ku government, then government esobola okubanga esobola okukyusaamuko. Then mwenga abakulembeze, for example, now my brother, you are a honorable councillor of district, you have a voice. If there is a budget for the district and your division has received a less budget, you have a right to make noise, to tell them Lwaki sente your budget is about 37 billion for the district. So Lwaki 37 billion sente single buji zona muzitade mu tours, you get the money, sente zandibade zikola enguudo ezikola matala ku nguudo za Fagasola, tuteke Marachi, tuteke no Marubaine in different places, then sente ezo osanga nga maybe honorable councillors and maybe some technical staff at the district, they are investing some of the money in tours, the exchange visit. What are you going to gain from the exchange visit? The best way of handling the solutions in a specific area or an area is by learning from the problems that are existing there. So if you have problems in Arubaine, if you have problems in Marach, you have problems in Nangwe or Madibira, you don't need to go to Mbarara city to learn how the people of Mbarara are handling it, so that you're able to come and handle it here in Busia. You ask the people who stay in Nangwe, you ask the people of Arubaine, and then people sit and they tell you, because the people themselves have the solutions.
Honorable, I remember.
Exchange visit.
I remember when we are having issues with our local revenue strategy. The district does not realize revenue. How do they collect? And we went to Hoima.
You went to Hoima,
and we found the things there are totally different from here. First of all, their sources are different.
Their climate is different.
Exactly.
The geographical location is different.
Exactly.
People speak a different language. Hoima is not a border city. For us, we are at the border. Characteristics are different.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. But at times, these things is a kind of majority. By the way, in council, I was among the people who were not willing to go for that tour, because when you look at our sources of revenue, are totally different from Hoima.
And also, I don't know if you'd be willing to, for example, just give us a hint of how much money did you spend on the entire trip, and we try to get an approximate of what we would do with that money, maybe to create some jobs for the young people in Busia municipality, or do something that is not right here.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of money, over like 8 million or 14,
yeah,
for sure.
You see, if you get 8 to 14 million, that money can bring some water to some 2 schools. Let us assume Marach has no school, Rubaine school and Mawero, and you want to bring water in those schools. Can't you use that money to bring water? It can. But now if it's wasted into exchange visit, and you end up going to an exchange visit where you're not going to learn anything.
Sure. So, Bwana Kennedy, you talked about most of the touching things. You've talked about taxation, you've talked about transportation, you've talked about safe water, and now there's an issue of most of the Ugandans are complaining of unemployment. Elimu bazungu teba complaining like unemployment, because this is our major concern. Most of the youth, most of the young guys here in Uganda are unemployed. Eliba chikola batya.
That's very interesting. A very direct answer. People in Europe are not lazy people. They are not lazy people. With due respect to my fellow Ugandans and my colleagues and friends in BUSIA, abantu abali Europe tebali lazy. Naye amazima gali nti for us here kanjogere wano ku BUSIA yaffe gyemanyi gye nkulidde enkeera in the morning, if you wake up and you start walking on these streets and these some areas, oja kusanga abavubuka balina maanyi, they have energy. Nenge jogerero lwalero bwereko egamba tebagala kukola. Of course waliwo agenda okungamba tetwagala kukola tuwadde emirimu. That's the saying here. Even in Europe they are not giving them jobs, but they are hustling. Bafuba nnyo okulaba nti banoonya emirimu bo bennyini baginoonya. But of course emirimu baginoonya wegiri kubanga government yabateekerawo ki a platform yokulaba nti emirimu gyo wegiri. But now we cannot compare Uganda with Europe because we are so far away. We need like 500 years or more than 500 years to be where Europe is. That's the truth. And so let us take some typical simplest examples of how the young people can make themselves productive. This is not only for BUSIA, but let me just take an example. Maybe some youth who are living in Buyengo, maybe they have some land in Davani here, they have some land in Skuda. Oyinza okusanga omuvubuka nga mu family yaabwe balina akataka naye nga buli kumakya keera kukola ki kutuula, and yet maybe they have some piece of land wasobola okulima cabbage, asobola kuba broker, asobola okukolayo something productive. Ekyokubiri, we have also some youth abanyoma emirimu, they despise jobs. Nti omuvubuka bw'aba asomye n'afuna degree ye oba alina diploma, there are certain jobs they cannot do. They feel there are certain jobs they cannot do. For example, Bogambo muvubuka nti alina degree in maybe social work, some social administration, or they have their bachelors in psychology or public administration or environmental studies, and at the moment they have not received tatafunanga mulimu. No mugamba nti njagala ogende mu restaurant ya Kasaija, mwami Kasaija wali oba ogende wali ku Jaire oba Grand Hotel, ogirobera volunteer at a restaurant, obere mu hotel as a volunteering, oberao bakusasulenga emitwalo gyo 2 oba 15. Aja kwetunula kagamenti okusoma kwange kuona nagenda kusomero ogenda okola mu hotel. Do you know some people despise certain jobs? And yet they forget that a humble beginning is better than nothing. Kiraba kwanga woyingira omulimu, you get to learn to interact with the people, you meet new faces of people who come to these hotels balina emirimu. Oyinza okubanga oli wano ng'oli ku desk, omwana ali wali ku desk akola at the hotel nga alina bachelor's degree nga hotel eyinza okubanga emusasula mitwalo 15 oba 15 oba 2, but in the long run bw'anaatuulaawo that agenda okusisinkanira amagenda ge. Someone will come here and is working with a certain organization and they interact, they exchange contacts. Then you learn about a certain job and you apply. So chengamba abavubuka they should stop this nonsense of despising jobs. Bobanga ngofunye chance ey'omulimu gwonna, regardless of how much that job is earning, is bringing in your pocket, please take it up. It's better than just ukubeerawo nga tolina kwali 10 musawo. As long as the job is bringing some money in your pocket, use it. Omanyiva abavubuka naddala abavubuka bali mu stage etanatuuka okuwasa. Of course abeera alaba nti abantu banandaba batya, how will my girlfriend see me nti I'm a waiter in a hotel. Banandaba batya nti nze ndikola omulimu gwa porter. Odi restiyo oli otiyenese omusenyi omuchanga okuta omuchanga. Omwana ono kati asoma kati ate waliwo n'enjogera endala gye tulina okusinziira ku ndowooza yaffe wano nti bw'obanga ng'osomyeko bana abatasoma mu community bwe bakulaba nga wagende Makerere oba Ekyambogo olina diguli yo ate nga naawe ogenze mu mukyanga batandika kukwogerera kati gwe naawe wagenda wamala ng'obudde bwo ng'ogenda ku ssomero kati laba wakomyewo ate okola mirimu gye gimu nejjaffe. They always sort of things and they discourage you. So we have to keep focused. The young people must know what they want and they have to push for that. So in Europe, people look for jobs on their own. They work hard. They are not working for the government. But of course, government has put their platform creating a mirimo. So it's a two-way. The government has to do something, but also it has to be your commitment, personal commitment and hard work. And if a job is small, don't despise it. If you can earn some lunch, breakfast from it, start from there as you look for something better.
Brother Kennedy, I want my brother to comment something on employment, on the nature of our youth. Okay, I just want you to comment on unemployment, basing on your experience, because my brother is trying to bring the Europe version and also is bringing the local version basing on his experience. But I also want to take your comment on that particular note.
Thank you very much, Brother Kingdom Life Studio something. And before I comment on that, I want to welcome my brother Kenneth from Germany. Welcome back. I know from here to Germany takes around 15 hours in the air up there, and it's something that you have to sacrifice your life. And we thank God that you came back safely. I also want to thank you, Bwana Juma. I know the power in social media, and this is the beginning of my discussion. That I have seen very many, actually the majority of the population of Uganda are youth, and most of them are on social media. So I want them to not use social media for funny things, but use social media to earn a living. It doesn't make any sense to buy data, then at the end of the day you go and sleep hungry. And I was discussing with my team at office that if you have data, look for call for proposals other than scrolling the WhatsApp, TikTok. It will not bring food on your table. So I want to commend first of all the youth to take the opportunities available on the social media and network. Like Brother Kennedy was sharing, I think Europe is very far, very over 1,000 miles away from us. But whatever he has discussed is about change of attitude, Bwana Juma, and the viewers. For us in Uganda, especially in BUSIA, we are still grappling with local issues. Local issues. At the global level, people are looking at three things which really make them not sleep. They are looking at the Ukraine-Russia war. They are also looking at COVID-19, and lastly they are looking at climate change. For us, we need to drive a vehicle to go and teach a person, sensitize a person in Majandi not to defecate in the what? The bush.
To wash their hands.
To wash their hands. To dig the latrine.
I have seen doing it here in municipality. They are doing it. Even people in municipality.
Telling people not to drink water and throw empty bottles on the road to block the water channels. The problems that you are dealing with. And when you are sitting in your budget, you are budgeting for garbage collection. At a global level, people, those developed countries, I have never been to Europe, I have never been to Germany, but those guys are very far. Like he said, there are things which are preventable. Like omuntu ali ekikajjo nalekawo ebichafu. You need a person to bring dollars for Orengo, Kennedy and Juma to come and say you that after eating, please carry those things and remove them. And these are the things.
Oingira taxi, nechupa yo yamazi guguze wali mu park. After drinking the water, you throw the bottle outside the window mu motoka. Tochirabanga abantu basula amachupa. olidde biscuit obubeera buli mu kifo ky'okusuula ebintu ebyo mu mmotoka kubanga ebintu ebyo bwebireka mu mmotoka ebintu ebyo bwebireka mu mmotoka nanyini mmotoka agenda kuvuga mmotoka watuuka bajja kweyera, they remove all the kasasiro and they dump it in the right place. So people should just stop kubanga bino bye bintu ebireetedde gavumenti yaffe okwonoona sente. So instead of, for example, our municipality here, singa we had a very good waste disposal, management system, municipal would be saving a lot of money on garbage, disposal. Tetwandibadde n'abantu abeera ku nguudo, tubasasula misaala because people are dirtying our roads. Tetwandibadde n'abantu abalonda amacupa gano, all those are budgets. Tetwandibadde n'abantu abagenda mu malwaliro nga balwala bulwadde ku Red Cross nga bajjudde embuto zibaluma because banywedde mazzi machafu. So whereas Europe is focusing on her, kati enjuba egenda kutandika okwaka etya emyaka 5 egiddako emyaka 10 emyaka 3 mu maaso. That's what Europe is focusing at. Enkuba ejja kuba etonya. How shall we be having summer and winter, or these seasons are going to change? That's why they're looking and putting their money. Gochali wano kyasomesa omuntu okunaba mu ngalo. Kino onakibaako di ekyokunaba mu ngalo. Ode ku kino ky'omugamba tusasula kasasiro ku luguudo. Amala ategeere nti alina okusoma. Amala ategeere nti alina okusasula omusolo.
Yeah, and that's what we are saying. Exactly. For sure. Because the government would be looking at how do we really refocus our people to become productive. At the moment, like you say, there are so many youth who are not productive. And there the government will enter what we call a demographic burden. That very few people are contributing to the economic development of this country. Like in a home, if you are 7, only one person is working for the 6 people who are redundant. And for how long shall we be in that situation? So we wouldn't be grappling and also, quarreling in the councils that you are budgeting for garbage collection. That these trenches are blocked for things that we can manage within ourselves, within the local resources that we have. When you go to the households, people just drink water anyhow. And these are things that we do because 80% of diseases are preventable. And that's why you hear that when the drugs come in the hospital, they don't last for a month. You find even expectant mothers lining up for the same one. So there are local things that we should work on, and that can also be done through change of attitude. The other thing is about now employment. The use for sure, to be a use means you have energy, you are in a productive state, you can move and network, and you can really use your youthful stage to be innovative and creative enough. Opportunities do not look for people. Like I was listening to the president of Rwanda. People look for opportunities. You look for it even if it's under the bed. The likes of Brother Kennedy wouldn't be flying to Germany. You get it? But we want to sleep 24/7. The other thing is about our BUSIA now locally here. BUSIA, Uganda, that you hear, is a gateway to many world markets. And it's the second in revenue collection in Uganda. So like leaders like you would be now, like Wanyama is saying, now look here as the government of Uganda. How many trailers pass through BUSIA here a day? There are over 2,000 trailers a day. And how much money does BUSIA contribute to the national treasury?
I'm sorry, I feel
you get it. And this, and I want to tell you, some leaders fear numbers. Yeah. Just because you get somewhere and you get divided and get confused and compromised. But I'm telling you, if you go to Bunyoro, they are now, lobbying for their percentage.
Buli muntu pipeline gwegenda okubanga eyita mutakali ajja kufuna. They are going to benefit already in the system.
I think by the reality something.
Very good. Yes. So as leaders, you must refocus the population now. Then the other thing, because I'm thinking you on in your time. The other thing is about appreciating each other. I have seen leaders talking in different languages. And of course, for us, we trust you as a leader. Like you said, we tried to tell people, to market ourselves to people. That you try us and we see if we. Then say, no, mujire mukolachi. Kati tulinze ndozo mwaka guwede. Nafe tubala. And I know with the time we shall be coming back. So we must change the attitude of our people. And then we must admit that there are certain things that we can handle locally. Then we see how global players can really come in to assist us. So the youth must wake up. This is the time. Yesterday has passed. Tomorrow is too far. The time is now. Actually, Bwana producer, I want you to put this on record. And I've gotten, before elections, I got some time. One of my first shows, I invited Kennedy. I think you were there. And I think Kennedy loves you so much. Yeah. In my first show, Kennedy came with you, but you did not appear in camera. Exactly. So today, I was like, you should appear. Exactly. I want to tell the viewers out there, whatever we shared with Kennedy, it was enough for me to give him my vote on the ballot. The guy didn't make it through, but when he was running for that seat, I don't know what I can say, but I'm telling the viewers out there, akaruru kangi ono musajja namuwa. Though there were very many words, there were very many candidates, but why did I give him my votes? Because what I shared with him on the social media and you, the viewers, I really saw content.
Thank you so much.
That's what I'm telling the viewers there. They have to know that. Now, why our members of parliament are doing this service to us? Because they bought the votes. They bought the votes with their money. Others were having loans. That is why you see we are crying. And in Bobby Wine's voice, Mujachiulira. That is what he said. Yes. I'll not go there. I was just telling you briefly. Brother Kennedy, you've talked about employment, and our time is almost coming to an end. We are left, like, I think, with 15 minutes. I wanted us to share something on education and agriculture. But before we come to education, let's share something on agriculture. Okay. Remember, in our national budget, agriculture was given 3 trillion. In fact, they didn't give it too much compared to last time. And we are talking of working commercialization of agriculture. So I want you to give us a hint on how we can use agriculture. How a local man, a person has land there in Orengo, Obamundindi, how can he use this land for income? Like they are doing in Europe. Yes.
If you say that like the way they are doing in Europe, then I almost don't find any word to describe how we can do it here. Because like I mentioned, those guys are far advanced compared to where we are now. I want to say this, that Umuganda gamba kitalo nnyo, and I want to use that word kitalo nnyo for Uganda, where we are. Emyaka gyonna gye tubaddewo, and we all know very well every president that comes on board. Of course, we have had our judge for over 36 years now, almost 36 years. Abadde president waffe. Naye waliwo abalala abali mabegawo. Bonna bagamba nti Uganda is our backbone is agriculture. Backbone mu Uganda nyinza okukiza ngambe nti amaanyi gaffe we gali mu ggwanga lino mu byenfuna gandibadde gava muki mu kulima. Si bwe kiri. So kubanga buli Munnayuganda yenna at least they have some capital oba aliko ne wasinziira oba wava where they can do something and they become and they are productive. So ng'eggwanga, when we say that we want to modernize agriculture, it's a good thing. And that's a very good gesture. You know, first of all, to realize that our background and our energy and strength is in agriculture. Why? Because we are producing a lot and even exporting food. We have plenty of food in this country. But when it comes to making use of agriculture to benefit Ugandans economically, I think that's the topic now. We first of all needed to move away from the rudimentary methods that we are using in agriculture.
Tradition.
And have a transition from those traditional, methods to modernized and climate-friendly technologies. Now, in Uganda, I don't know how we can do that, but that's the way to go. For example, if you analyze most of Ugandans are people are still using hand hose. So if someone has like 10 hectares,
MPs are distributing hand hose.
MPs, actually, even when they are campaigning, chansonyi nyo okulaba nti MP agenze mu factory ekola enkumbi ez'emikono n'atandika okugabira abantu nti manangeze mbagulide enkumbi ezaki oyo omuntu aba ayagala kuzaayo emabega tosobola kungulira nkumbi. At least give me an ox plow, this bull with it is
tractor.
Then obey tractor, then you government okay. BUSIA municipality, let us assume BUSIA municipality tuneta ko tulima ngamba Eastern Division bawali tractor oli asobola jiko sako na kulwalero namana najuwa oli ninateka mafuta nakosa oli ninajua mafuta nakola ki ne tractor mu werimi olunaku olumu it's really visible ibere kozo mulimo. So having a transition from the local traditional mechanisms of agriculture into modernized. For example, can we try to employ technologies like use of fertilizers first of all for our crops? Secondly, trying improved irrigation mechanisms. Instead of using bottles, there is one day where I saw a president was using a bottle to demonstrate drip irrigation. There is a modern drip irrigation system, but I think the president was just using a bottle to show how a drip irrigation can work. But drip irrigation is done through pipelines, and then water passes through the pipes, and then it drops slowly. Now, we can move to this kind of technologies, first of all, and this is what people in those developed countries are using. Technologies, solar-powered irrigation. Ofuna solar-powered pumps, and you group people and say, okay, we have 5 farmers in one setup of a satellite in a certain village. Can we group some 5 farmers? Pumping amazi, irrigating there we are going to improve. That is one way, starting from the ground. The second thing is that the government has to do. We call it value addition. Of recent, you have seen endaganos in ezemwani sagala zingiramu nnyo. I don't want to go into that. Coffee. Can say example ya ye BUSIA. Tulina akatale cafe wano e BUSIA, and this market largely brings in cereals. And if I'm not mistaken, BUSIA is the largest cereal market in East Africa. I think so. BUSIA, yes. Ye katala akakyasinza okuleta emmere y'okulya ebirime in East Africa. Teri katale kala kubanga Kenya emmere egijja wano. Ndoza ne Rwanda, ndoza ne ensenda Congo bonna emmere iva wano BUSIA. Of course tulina obutale obulala naye nga BUSIA contributing kinene nnyo mu katale kafe kana ka cereal. So bugamba nti oyagala okuyamba bana Uganda okukulaakulana mu byokulima. The government must think about value addition for what the citizens are producing. For example, I have my cows. I'm producing milk. How can I process this milk in that I don't just sell raw milk to India or raw milk to Kenya or to Europe? I can process this milk and it's powdery. Okay? And so someone in Germany will also buy powder milk from Uganda. But that we need machinery systems here that can do that, so that we don't just sell our milk. And if we do that, we shall stop the investors to come to Uganda to do that for us. Because what the government is doing, we have not invested in our own resources. We have the skills in Uganda. We have people who can operate machinery here, machines. But then we let Chinese, our China never Jawano, na take a human processing amata. Yena agatwale wawe ngagali processed in powder form when gumwa gali raw. That's why you are able to sell your liter at 500 shillings a liter of milk. If you come to maize, bantu bameka bali makasolu wawe ne bali mana ayitirira owokulya nga ali ewaka naye nga ate owokutunda you are selling raw maize. A kilogram is at how much right now? Maybe 1,000 or 1,500 a kilo of maize. Yeah. Kasolo ono kubamaze okugira ku buki kuikuta. Maybe a kilo yinzo kubanga ku 10 balo 10 kasimanya, I'm not very sure. Kati omulimira banga bamaze ebanga, I don't know how long kasolo takes. Imiezi mukago almost. Ali mu nimiro preparations everything, and then you're selling a kilo at 1,000, my brother. Basinzo okukola omulimo munene. If we have a value addition machine again, bagamba you want simanyo vekola.
Ate ba broker bebalya nnyo.
Ba broker bebalya nnyo kiraba. So then omulimi akafirwamu, and at the end of the day yakoze omulimo munene naye talina kyafunamu. But if you're producing and you have small scale industries at maybe village level, parish level, or sub-county level, these people produce their milk, or they're producing their maize, or they're producing their nuts, and they're able to pack them locally and they sell them. There is value. The price egenda kulinya. So Uganda must have a mechanism of us processing our own food before say we should stop selling raw foods ideally. And if we want our people to have some income, tulina okubateekerawo embeera egenda okubayamba okuteeka value mu bintu byebakola, like mu birime bakola ki byebabanga balima. So that's what I'm seeing in Europe. Everything is machinery. And not everybody is in agriculture. They are now experts. That part is for agriculture, and people who are doing agriculture are known. Not everybody is there. But here we have a lot. And the first thing that you have to begin with, first of all, you have to start with teaching them fertilizer, how do you take care, how do you spray. That's the level we are.
But
so we still have a lot.
Kennedy, I've remembered something still on the agriculture. There's something that we shared. No gamba abantu tebabawa emirimu nga individuals. They give them through companies. Ndoza, is it the same that they can use on agriculture as in a company, or try to correlate the
Chensolo kugamba kwecho, for example, in developed countries there is too much expertise. You know, expertise in a way to kubango yagala kuzimba nyumba yo. The way we are constructing our houses, nufanya akasente kono yate kwa musingi. You just get any mason. Namugamba munange naguze wale cement wabu suju mujewa no munyambe tukolechi. Teko wano musingi mutwaleko. I have seen my brother King Rosen has asked me to contribute some cement. I'm going to get to him back. I'll get to him later on. Nti bufuna cement ngotandika butandisi. In Europe, that's not there. If you want to construct a house, you must find a company that has the expertise. They will come and they do for you the DOQs, they make designs, the same thing when it comes to like employment, in terms of skilling jobs. Companies. Abavuka, for example, I want to use a very typical example. Njagala kuteka salon nga yakusala nviri na kukola kusala nviri z'abasajja na kusiba nviri z'abakazi. Muzereba tulina wano nyingi BUSIA wano. In Europe you cannot find a salon where you can just walk and enter and say, please, I have come, cut my hair. So there. You must make an appointment. You will go, people are there cutting hair, but you cannot cut. They will ask you, did you make an appointment? You said, no, I've come to cut my hair.
Online.
So, no.
Appointment online.
Hey, online. No, we are busy. You go on the platform and make an appointment. If you go on the platform, you see a line of people in waiting on the platform. Like we mentioned, we talked about time. Abantu tebono no budde bwabo kugenda mu saloon alindirawo. Agenda mu budde bwe watuuka nga bamusalanga agenda. Tana budde bwa kutula kulinda. That's why they are making an appointment. Nti akola appointment on the system. Kati oli baba abera mu saloon. He expects nti sawa 2 ninayo customer. Sawa 4 ninayo customer. Sawa 5 kati ya asalira ku budde. Kati boja sawa wezo ngagama, no, I cannot cut your hair, but I have free time. Okutandika sawa 8 paka 10, you can book from there. Then you book. Now no ingirawo. So ekyo kyekiyambye nnyo, so that because people don't have time to waste. Okiraba. So but for you to operate a saloon, it must be registered.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a point that you wanted me to raise. If you want to, for example, to run a business in Busia, oba ya kutunda duka, oba ya kutunda spare, you cannot just open a shop. It must be registered. And why? Because if it is registered, of course you will pay some taxes, which will contribute to the welfare of the country. But also, government they will. Balina sente nyingi bali abasajja bakola sente enzimu tebamanyi like they don't know what to do with their money. Now they are investing those monies in these small companies that are beginning. Omwana akude ku university talina mulimo naye ayagala alina technology gyamaze okuzuula. In Europe now people are developing technologies every time, day and night. Kino kyolaba Museveni nga alemedde ku kintu kya sciences. By the way, he's right. Because in the future it's going to help us. I'm not saying that he's right to deny these other teachers from Sala, but on the issue of sciences, it's a good thing, it's a good venture. In Europe, buli mwana avayo nga akoze masters here. They don't just allow you to do a master thesis on a baseless research. They make sure that the student avayo alina innovation ekya create is government yesobola okuyiyama ekirungi kisobola okuyamba eggwanga. Ekiraba waliwo agenda okuyiya essimu, waliwo agenda okuyiya ekikopo nti mubadde mukola ecupa za plastic oba flaska eza plastic zono netaka kati njagala kukola eza glass, because glass is soil, you can break it and throw it in the soil. So they come up with different technologies. Then for registering a company eyiyo ngoyagala kukola business nga tolina mulimu, then you get a grant from the government. Kati nga wano Honorable Juma mubadde mukola youth livelihood programs, operation wealth creation, simanyi simanyi. There are so many groups, a lot of money that you have been giving different evina. Now mutadde operation development mondo mwagala kuwa abantu sente. I don't know whether it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Now those groups must be registered. If they are not registered, mu system ya Uganda jetuita URSB, Uganda Service Registration Bureau. Kati eri, if you are not registered under such a system, government tekumanyi era tusobola kubeera na mulimu. But as long as you register, jobs are there, money is there, the government will invest. The government will invest in your company, and you'll invite your colleagues abavubuka bano ne mutandika okukola. Ekyokubiri, katugambe nti ofunye omulimu mu government ya Uganda, you are now employed by government. Anybody who is employed either by a company in Europe or by government, ngoyagala kuzimba ennyumba yo, their banks have a lot of money. They told me, I asked all these questions, I asked them. They balina mortgaging system. Nti bwoyagala kuzimba ennyumba, interest rate is 1% per annum. 1%. Kati gwe mbuulira nti bw'obanga oli mukozi ofuna sente zo ku mwezi ng'oyagala kuzimba ennyumba yo oba mu myaka emeka tojja gizimba. Lwaki tojja kukulaakulana? Kubanga bakuwadde loan, naye nga loan gye bakuwadde it's not attracting a low high interest. They are giving here an opportunity to develop.
They want you also to get a profit.
They want you to be okay. So they take up 1% on mortgage loans, so that they give you money and you have this money. But it has to be through a company. For example, if you want to build a house, they will not give you this money as cash. Or just calculating, then you invite the company to do the BOQs and say it will cost me 1 billion to have the house of my dream. You go to the bank, then the bank will tell you that for this 1 billion, you will pay it in 15 years. Okay? We shall be charging you 1% interest per year. Is it okay? You say it's okay. Now, the banker gets this money and pays the company. But the company must give you your house as it is designed to finishing.
When everything is done,
they hand you over your house, you enter there. That's how the system works. Especially for construction, because it's not you going to construct. You must hire a company. So, if we can come together and form groups, trust each other, be committed, and government nayo etandika okulowoozako ku muntu wa wansi sente ziteeke mu bantu.
They should lower also the interest rates.
They should lower the interest. Banks zino zikendeza interest rates. Abaana bakole, because our government does not have jobs to employ everybody. We have many students who are sitting down. Babadde emyaka 10, 20, 5 tebafunanga mirimu. So if the interest rate olwaliro mbaddeko mu Equity Bank, and I was interacting with the manager. Nemubuza, but what are your interest rates for loans? And now 25%. Can you imagine? Who can afford that?
That is too much.
So, if the government can reduce on the interest rates, then the idea of parish development model we come up with very good ideas, but we don't implement them.
Implementation.
Yes. Yeah, I want to supplement on something, and I want to appreciate the way he's comparing. I feel some of these things are doable.
Yeah.
And if we had like 10 Kennedys who would, like the way you go to Western Uganda and you really change what you have learned from there into actions, would be shining. And of course, the difference between a rich man and a poor is information. Now we receive people start commenting, Kennedy is bragging, is showing off. But for me, I'm learning. I have never been to Europe, and I want to assure you that from here, I'm picking a lesson. Now, the government should do this, because the problem that worries me, like you asked, is the unemployed youth, who are the majority of the population. This youth tomorrow will return into insecurity. Because you cannot have a country which is secure with the majority of the population are redundant. So the government should invest in the majority of the population. How? In Europe, I think data is accessible.
Yes, everywhere.
I've been those who have gone to Wanakadama, I don't know whether that's the right one, but people have gone there. You see them online 24/7. Then Nembuza, how do you get data? You access what?
Every restaurant is a must in Europe to have internet. Public places, Mogenda train station, you are at a bus station, it's free data. Turn up no password. Because they help people to communicate. You look at how we suffered during COVID. Those who had advanced technology of online, they were thriving with the life. The VPN.
But for us who were still analog, we really suffered. So we must change. We must tell the government to invest in the majority of the youth by making data accessible to the majority of the population. Then the youth must be very innovative. I think there is a problem with our curriculum.
And also, actually, on that point, as you conclude on that point, if you want to create jobs, I want to thank President Museveni that he's now beginning to see that science subjects are important. We should also look at these high institutions of learning. Abana batuse Makerere, abali Chambogo, abali Gulu, abali Stema University. When these students are in the university at university levels and are doing their research, let the government put a lot of money in research. Because every student who is going to do research and comes up with some technology that is of help, this technology could be used by a certain company, could be used by a certain group of people to employ many people.
Exactly.
So the more the technologies, the more the employment opportunities that we will have. So prioritizing, investing in research is very important.
Very good. And that's how we are going to develop as a country. ICT technology must be embraced in every aspect, in every ministry, in every department and agencies of this government. Then the other thing is that make resources accessible by these youth. Imagine Equity giving a loan at an interest rate of 25%. Tell me if the youth will get a loan and benefit from that. If the youth will not die of stress. You get the point. So the government must make these resources accessible by the youth. Because they are the ones who are energetic, they are the ones who are running, they are discriminating their movement, they're everywhere. You get the point? Then the other thing is farming. Let farming be attractive. Sometimes I see youth moving from the villages where gardens are coming to town. They are coming for betting. This is gambling. By chance, by not chance, you don't get anything. So the farming aspect must be very attractive to the youth, and we must tell the youth to remain in the village, to remain very productive. Like we say, Imagine as Ugandans we exporting raw cassava to Kenya, to the other countries with soil.
And the investors, the buyers from Kenya come and go directly to
the garden, to the farmer.
Fields,
yeah.
To the farmer.
And he's telling here, Holusaka with the head, I'm giving you 50,000. And he's going to get many dollars. Can you imagine? And the government is looking on. So we must refocus and realign the thinking of our people.
But I think, Honorable, when it comes to realigning that sector, the big burden still is on the government. For example, if we are modernizing agriculture, like I just gave a hint when I was talking about how the tools that we use.
Yes.
How about the road infrastructure? Is there a connection of the people of Busime to access the cereal market easily? Is there a connection from Buteva, from some Busoga, Engudo, is connecting abantu okuva mu byalo? In Europe, bozimba enyumba yo ne bwebera mu kyalo, government webange ekola oluguudo, ekukolera oluguudo paka ku nyumba yo, tota kulinya mutaka. Accessibility. Ekyo kintu kikulu nnyo nti okuteekawo accessibility nti abantu balina entambula etabatawanya, amasannyalaze gatuuka ku buli muntu, amazzi gatuuka ku buli muntu, entambula wezo ziri. Then when it comes to agriculture, by the way, even in the gardens, nina ebifaananyi binakuba ngenda bikuweereza nga ennimiro we balimirira gavumenti yazimba n'enguudo zigenda abantu kwe bayitira nga bagenda okulima
za
tamaka tosobola kusanga luguudo nga luli awo nga luli kwetosa. Everything is tamaked.
Because that makes really the product to be cheaper and easier.
And everything.
Then lastly, climate. You know, I came from a humble background where they use the handy hoe. Up to now, when I go back to the village, people are still struggling with what? And they are still looking at the weather. Is it going to rain in March? And yet climate change is
a big issue.
It's a big issue. Things are changing. So the government is not even updating people on weather changes. You see, when it rains, this water flowing is wasted. But I think in developed countries, they have reservoirs where they store this water and is used during dry weather. But you see people, children playing in water, opening water to go, and at the end of the day, when sunshine comes, then we begin what? And those are the areas that the government would be channeling the resources. Such that when it comes to dry season, people use the other water from the reservoir and then begin irrigating the what? I think that's what I can recommend.
I have a friend of mine who is a head of microbiological department from a Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Research. This guy is from South Africa, but has been in Switzerland for over 20 years. Now he got citizenship and is employed there. Good friend of mine. He's now a head of a department, government. One of also government permanent secretary, one Ministry of Water and Environment. Very simple guy, can walk everywhere. Turn up the water. Young Ambanti, they have battered technology. Whatever gonna mask get to never sink. Yeah? You go to people's houses, they sink, toy. They have their sewage system, and that water is collected somewhere. So now they have developed technologies that process that water, remove every dirt, and take that water back to drinking. And by the time they give it to you for drinking, you do not know that it came from the other side. Very safe and good. That's where those guys have reached. They are saving. But together, we need to save our lakes.
Exactly.
And they are encouraging making vegetation, planting trees about their lakes and making them a bit more, natural. So they want to utilize every opportunity to make sure that they save the water and they save everything that they have. They are calculating some years ahead. If they don't do that, they will have problems.
I think you can see where they have reached.
In
Entebbe, the weather station and those who read the weather forecast, they say in May it will be heavy rainfall, and yet people receive here a lot of rain. And that's why the government now keep on supplying coffee seedlings. So everything is confused and you don't know who will tell what. So we want to really the government to come on the drawing board. Even leaders,
leaders.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I think we also need to pay attention to is putting the right people in right offices.
Exactly.
let us not appoint people based on emotions. Nti bwembera president ow'eggwanga, bwembera chairman LC5, nembera chairman LC3, I will put somebody in a department based on mukwano gwange to abade yisa atya abade anjogerako bubi. Here in Africa, people don't like people who criticize them. If I criticize you, it does not mean that I hate you. Exactly. We are just disagreeing on principle. But that one does not mean that we are enemies. So Ugandan politics, omuntu criticizing kunsobi gyakola on principle ku bintu ebiyamba abantu baffe yabeera alabanga oli mulwanyisa okumufeiringa. So someone ends up appointing even a minister mu office jatali nako bumanyirivu bwonna, and they end up doing nothing. So if Uganda can have a system where we can have professionalized individuals in those departments, probably we can improve. If you put someone in education, omuntu go to our education department, ku district or council, heading, I don't know who is heading, of course, but our education yasomerera.
For education was a former head teacher of CSS.
You see, that's good.
I think
omutade mu works oba nenge talinako information about engineering, talinako background. Omutade mu health department talinako ne just
so
because positioning people in right offices also helps us. Kubanga abantu abo bamanyi ekibi bagenda kukola.
Then to conclude, you said education. I think just a quick one. Our education system has a problem. You know, we spent a lot of time studying about naming the parts of the flower. I think in European countries they don't do that. How many times Muslims go? I'm sorry.
How many times Muslims go for prayers?
You get the
now
point.
Now that in Europe, it's put on shelves. If you want, you go to the library and read that on your own.
And you are beaten so many strokes on the back that you have failed. Can you imagine? And yet, you know, we must change the curriculum. That when you see your child is trying to make a vehicle, a motorcycle, why don't you place that child to
take interest?
Yes, specifically in that thing. And that's why you see engineers constructing bridges which collapse within 2 days. Because he was studying things which are not now very relevant, and we are still stuck with that curriculum. So something must be done. And it annoys me when I spend 7 years in primary studying about house flowers, parts of the flower, you know, when did the Adam over did what? Something that I can learn from the child.
Yes.
So Jumah and the viewers, we must use this platform because I can't go to Jogo, but I know very many people are following us, and the video will be there. And the video will be there.
And also on YouTube, they will be there.
Exactly. So let's begin from where we are and push this onward.
Right.
There is one more comment that I want to make. This is just a general comment, and it's an observation. I have worked with people from Europe. I have worked with professionals in Uganda, and of course different categories of people. At least I've had that chance. Obumu ku buzibu bwe tulina wano mu ggwanga lyaffe in Uganda nti omuntu bw'afuna omulimu, if someone is employed and has a good job, take an example, maybe you are a chief administrative officer, maybe that's a big title. Let me use the one of sub-county chief. Sub-county chief kugombolola. Or maybe you are a community development officer at the sub-county. CDO. Who is supposed, his role, ye muntu was supposed to kubanga akolegana n'abantu buli lunaku. Every minute you are dealing with people, you are trying to identify the problems of the community and find solutions within the people. Never enough bananga bana Uganda mujja kusonyowa bana BUSIA. Tweddeko fenna nange nga kwendi. Bw'obeeranga ng'ofunye omulimu ogwa government obanga gwa kitongole, tokozesa mulimu gwo okulinya ku bantu balala. That's the problem we are having. Last week nagende eddebaninga n'omulwadde. Naye bwe nagende eddebaninga n'omulwadde, abasawo ne bankolako mu ddwaliro, bano bosookera like reception ne bakukolako, n'ogenda bali mu finance ne bakukolako, ne bantuma genda mu lab. So I went to the lab. When I get in lab of testing results, the attendant was not there, the lab technician. Nenzirayo wali mu finance, gamba naye musajja tali yo kiki. People are lining up. What are bakola since they are coming and they are lining up there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I go back. 30 minutes tajja. So people started looking for him. Abadde wanagenzo. Kumbe the guy was just relaxing. Alira relaxing ali kusimu akubira ba mikwano je. So when he came, nemugamba ese kwenda tuli wano tukulinze. Abantu people need your services. Nagamba you have just come and you okolo lugezigezi what we yangam because he didn't know me. Nemugamba which means you are just doing this intentionally. You know that people are here waiting for you, but you're busy, you care less on your phones. Namuvira mumbera Samu Sabulunji. I caused commotion. And people came and good enough, the administrator came and people apologized. But my point is, you have an office. That office is supposed to serve people. Maybe in slippers, maybe tezili kumutindo. No mutunuliro okuba wansi kubigere paka wagulu. Okiraba? People in these public offices segregate people, the people they serve. If you come and you attack ngini ngolinenga ton erabiko bulungi, ayinzo gamba onayinzo okubera mukulu kamwe attention. Naye munange bwajjanga wa boda boda azea avuga boda boda ayambadde uniform ya boda boda nenga ayagala service y'omwami ono. Ayinza n'omutabo muodanga masaba mbadde nzize nine barua yange nzize osayiningireko. They will first take their time. Why don't we serve our own people? You have got an opportunity. You are working in your own community. You are working in your own district. You are working in your own country. You are serving your own people. Why do you make your people suffer at your expense?
I take Mwami Kennedy. So, Jagala, let me enter from there. Our cow had the same scenario. Our cow, that is the chief administrative officer. Yayambala t-shirt, nayambala sando, nayambala ebipale biri awo, nagenda kuteba wano ku health center. Ng'abantu bangi, pregnant mothers, people are there. Nayimirira nga tewali basawo. Omu omukyala najja. Namubuuza, why are you not working on the people? Namubuuza, niwe nani? Niwe nani? Balina ekintu ekyo. Niwe nani?
Wena no bantu bangi
ekintu ekyo kati oli n'agamba nedda badde just ngamba ku bugambi tuna abantu bati bangi
betaga service
esasi ndisengana ano ostegera I'm the only one here, other people are not there. Oli n'amubuuza how many are you supposed to be otebako tuwi,
you see.
So from that point,
so
oli namwa identity card. Kumba ali kumukama wajoga. We told the man or your nurse mlete to disciplinary committee. Yes, that is what is going. So whatever you saying, sintuno likugamba lwakuba yagala kugamba. Nange nakiwulirako. And
this also goes to our young brothers and sisters who are looking for jobs. You know, when you are looking for a job, you can even kneel down. No, even if the job will pay me 50,000, even if it's just volunteering to get experience first, I am willing. Abantu kama manyo kwegonza nga banonyo omulimu. Naye namala kufuna n'olyokola true colors. Let us stop that and love our own country. We always talk about patriotism. I don't know whether people understand patriotism. What is patriotism? It's not just all about you saying, I love my country, Uganda. If you love your country, Uganda, then you cannot make your brother or your sister suffer. Kubanga we are holding an office omulaba bulabinga kasasiro. All Ugandans are contributing to the welfare of this country. And so whether the person is coming from where, regardless of their background, regardless of their age, regardless of their religion, and whatsoever, we must serve every Ugandan equally. Banafa balina emirimu. Muyamba abantu baffe mukole emirimu. Bobera ng'olimu office nga government ekusasula omusaala. You have no reason to get out of that office ogenda okola emirimu gyo nga bakusasula musaala. You are supposed to give people service. Omuntu ogenda mu office n'osanga kooti yeri ku ntebe. Which number tabeerayo, but the court is always there at the nectar. They don't work.
Bwana Kennedy.
Chairman wa mwayogerako nga mugamba chairman mubi.
Bwana Kennedy. The viewers who are watching the Kingdom Live Show, thank you so much for your time. I can mention a few. I can mention the likes of Abduriz. I can mention the likes of King Rosem, Najib Kakaire, Mwebaze Miriam, Virunji Helen, Junior Suwere, Nawire Becky, Elimedi, Pagamba Bantu Banji, Babade Balaba Kingdom Live Show. I'll tell you that thank you so much for always following the Kingdom Live Show. It's all about transforming our community and sustainable development through such kind of discussion. Don't forget, this show is being sponsored by the Kingdom Pure Coconut Oil. But before we close, we are going to use like 2 minutes for you guys to send your regards to your lovely ones, and then we call it a day. I'll begin with my brother Orengo.
Thank you very much. I want to use actually less than 2. I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I also want to thank those who have really bought data to see us and listen to us. Where we have gone wrong, I think today they will excuse us, but let them pick a lesson from what we have discussed. I want to say that there is no rich country like our country, Uganda. Given the beautiful climate and the natural resources that we have, it's all about refocusing our mindset. And I want to send my greetings to every Ugandan, wherever you are, every Ugandan, whether you are viewing, whether they will be forwarded to you, I want to send my greetings. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Allow me to use my minute to, first of all, 1 minute, okugamba bannanga BUSIA nti kutripu yange gye nagenda mu Europe ninayo akantu kenazuulayo kengenda okubanga nzija nako around next year. I have been also having so much passion about women and young people, in not necessarily in BUSIA municipality alone, naye BUSIA district yaffe nze buli wona wengenda kasita mbeera ndi mu BUSIA oba ndi Busime oba ndi Lunnyo oba ndi Buteba whether mu Sitema eri bayitawo Buyanga buli gwenda bambamula banga muganda wange wawa ne BUSIA generally in Uganda fena tuli bana Uganda. So ninayo some maybe we shall have another day and discuss this maybe with some of the youth leaders in this municipality and some other areas, how we can tap some opportunities from some of those countries that are a bit now better developed. Now what can I do to support some of your people there? Of course, it should be one-time support. What should I do? Approach Uganda supporting groups. I have 197 groups of both women and young people that I want to invest in. These groups are already doing something in livelihood. I call them village savings groups. People who come together. Have you seen these groups in different villages? Abamama, abavuka, abantu bagezako kwegata ngakibina ne batandika okuleta olukumi pa wiki ne basaivinga akasente kawe akasente akubwe kawera, then they start getting loans from these groups. Then they invest into their businesses, or some of them take these loans from the village saving groups, and then they pay school fees for their children. So I built on that concept. But we have an idea that can help develop people economically, and this is a saving skill, and it is sustainable in a manner that you don't just give someone money, someone you don't know money. These are already existing groups that can be registered by the government. They have the certificates, they have the approval of the government, leaders know them, but also the group members themselves know each other and they know who stays where. Okay? And so if it comes to fall up on the loans, nobody can run away with the money of the group. Name government, I'm looking for money, and what I want is just 1,000 euro per group.
That is how much you get?
That's around 4 million shillings. So I need 1,000 euro per group. And if actually name government, I've already invested in 17. So I still have a lot. Out of 197, if I've invested in 17, I still have 180 groups that are there, but I needed to reach them. So what do we do? We need to come. I have to come to Uganda and see. So we are developing a concept that is going to reach out to vulnerable people. Sentence no sagala. And if we have developed this concept, we want to really ensure that those groups that are existing already. Sagala, when the government here for Uganda, then you think of forming a group. For me, I'm not going to do like that. I'm going to use my own tactics with my teams, of course using the leaders like you, to identify those groups in a hiding way, in a background. Group teja kumanya tulijino nyerezako, but we shall be moving around and see what abantu abatulanga wali basaving bebani abo no tumayo muntu atali Kennedy. Now for information okay, if they are saving, for how long have they been saving? Maybe 1 month, 1 year. I think they are worth it. But registered tebali tubatwale ku municipal bakozechi baregistaringe project eribwejja nge batekamo euro 10 is a million nyagamba kati ku million nya zino baba they give you once tebagala kuzizaayo, but they give you this money, but they want these group members who are about 30 to 25 to use the 4 million and then they add on theirs but ankokwe olwaka center akawerako mu kibina kyabwe so that they are able to boost their businesses. Ozitekayo bwe bakola ne bakulakulana then nomanya nti kino kibiina ky'abantu nabawa million nya ne mu myaka 3 kati buli muntu alina bukadde 10. Kiraba? So that's one of the targets of one of the target population that we are looking at. So we shall identify some youth groups and also women groups to support them financially. But at the moment we are still developing the concept, and this concept maybe can easily mature towards the end of the year. Let's keep praying for it.
Yeah.
So
need to pray.
I want to thank you for hosting me on this platform, and also thank our viewers who have been listening and who have been commenting. I know we didn't have enough time to maybe read all the comments and maybe give some responses, but I'm sure since it's on Facebook, comments can go on and can keep discussing this topic and anything that comes. But at the end of the day, chenjagala okubagamba kiri nti mwena bwe tuba twagala okukulakulanya ensi yaffe tuyiga okwagalana. Bw'olaba munno mwagalize kirungi. Let us stop hating one another if we don't have any reasons to hate them. If there is an opportunity, open those doors for your friends. Tugulewo emiryango gyaffe, tuyambagane, tukulakulane nga ffe abantu, okwate ku muno omukono oli naye akwate ku muno munne omukono, awo tugenda okulabira enkulakulana. Naye gwe bonaabeeranga mu kifo nga buli kimu oyagala kirya nga bwe kino kinawulirako ku district yaffe ebadde n'ebifo ebyemployinga abantu naye ng'omuntu omu ali kwakitinga mu bifo nga 4-5. Why don't you open opportunities for other people? So mbasaba bannange sagala ate kugenda mu lwali naye nga let us have a heart for where we come from and a heart for our country. So mwebale nnyo okumpuliriza ne mukulu Kingdom Honorable njagala kusaba nti platform eno tuyiye amagezi agasobola okugikulakulanya. Ereme just okubeera nti sponsored by coconut what? Oil.
Yeah.
We can also start paying for it.
Producers.
We should pay for your time. You should pay for your time. Iranze platform eno ngenda kisasula mitwale 10 olwalero ngenda tandikirawo.
Wow.
I will put 100,000 shillings so that maybe because I know we are buying data. Yeah, so let's love to support our brothers and sisters if they come up with some innovation. But then following nenga otuwa information otuwa mawulire obera platform no clicking no labanga Juma alina kyakuwadde kyo badde tukitumanyi. So this is how we should support each other. If you have a skill that I don't have, why don't I support your skill? Skill you egenda supporting omuntu omulala. Wait to go to mukulakulana, and that's how we're supposed to live. So thank you for hosting me, and I appreciate all the viewers.
Before you go,
yes, I wanted to apologize. If I mentioned something that didn't make somebody happy, so anyway, it was just an interaction and opinions. It was my personal opinion, so forgive me for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those King Rose Manaka project ndoza otera nyo kalaba naye abadde agambye Mwami Kennedy bwatuwayo ensawe mu babiri ajja kuba tukoledde ndoza message ako kalabye
ka message nkalabye era waliwo omuntu is somebody who contacted me already. She's one of my sisters. I think ndoza akola naye bamuyita Nakato. She contacted me and I told her my problems. You see, when I came back from Europe, I've been addressing similar needs. I have so many inboxes, messages, asking me to, and yet, you see, you're just an individual. So, I've seen the project, actually I've seen the pictures. I'm interested to support, but at the moment I'm a bit tired. So what I'm going to do, nga watambula ku stage eyo waliwo stage wagenda okutuukako nange nzijenyigirewo nja kuyingirawo. Keep moving, and I keep praying that you keep moving. I don't want to just give you 3 bags of cement. I want to do something. Of course, I know 1 + 1, they always say makes a bundle. So nange nja kuyiya, already I've committed myself, and I'm sure I'm going to make some contribution to that.
All right, thank you so much, my guests. That is my brother Fred Orengo and my brother Kennedy. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Indeed, I'm humble. Politics. By the way, politics. I just want to see how can we develop each other. How can we make a change? So if your politics, see, when it comes to percentage, I give it like 2%. Yeah. So, but for the rest, we want to see how we transform lives of people. The people who are behind the camera, that gentleman right there is my producer, and is the one who is going to edit this work very well and package it and then put it on YouTube. And I'm sure if you subscribed, you'll get this information well packaged, well edited, and you'll get the story. We are trying to make awareness on Facebook and also YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah, so that after some years you can come and see. If you want something, you can refer it and see on YouTube. So we are trying to develop something. And on top of that, Bwana Orengo, through your support, you people, we are planning again to bring something that is much more bigger. I think the time we met, we were not like this.
Exactly.
We were like holding holding a phone with the hand.
My contribution for the Kingdom Show.
Thank you so much. Sentences, Kingdom Live Show has to progress. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. I'm really humbled. I'm humbled. The people who are behind the camera, that is called Dash, is the producer, or I can say is the one who packages this information. I have my young brother, he's called Future. That is how I move with him when we are going for shows. And all the people who always watch me on the Kingdom Live Show, kindly, what I can say is when you get this information on Facebook, kindly share it on YouTube so that we can get many people. What people of Kampala are doing, even us here in BUSIA, we can do it.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't have TVs, but we can use this platform to give people information. And that is why we came up and said, no, we should concentrate on our town and see how we can create exposure. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Next time when I call you, brother, don't hesitate. Just come, depending on whatever we shall be talking about. Thank you so much, viewers.
The Kingdom Live Show.